Alright, so now we've done history. What did we do last time? We did biology next, and I'm going to do that just to make things a little bit easier to follow. Let's go see Jacques, our home teacher. Hello, hello, I hope everyone's ready to learn some new things today. You all did really great on the midterm exam. Thanks for answering my little question at the end too. Be sure to keep your responses in mind. Alright, now that we're heading into the last half of our classes together, it's time for our knowledge to evolve and grow, just like our Pokemon. Evolution! Yep, evolution. Today we're going to be learning about the fascinating phenomenon of Pokemon evolution. Shouldn't you be bringing Professor Birch in for that? As your Pokemon battle will level up, they learn moves and get stronger. And for some Pokemon, once they level up enough, their appearance changes and their stats increase, sometimes by a lot. Very rarely do they go down. That's like a unique case. That's Pokemon evolution. Pokemon become very strong when they evolve, making them trusty partners in battle. But some people prefer to keep the Pokemon in their adorable pre-evolved states, or if they want to use an item called Eviolite. To do this, you just need to remember a certain button when your Pokemon begins to evolve. Same if you know, to cancel evolution, press the B button, because that doesn't break freaking immersion at all. Button you need to stop Pokemon evolving is the B button. You grab your Pokedex, point it, press B like a remote, and it will send a signal. You press it soon after a Pokemon begins to evolve, you can stop it from changing. And I just fixed the fourth wall breakage. You can also let the Pokemon hold an item known as an Everstone to keep it from evolving. Keep in mind that the requirements for evolution differ from Pokemon to Pokemon. Some may evolve by having a certain item, such as Firestone or a Thunderstone, used on them. Others must learn a specific move or defeat certain Pokemon in battle to evolve. Or, as some of the evolutionary things in this game, which are quite crazy, having them follow around with you outside and not stop moving for a certain amount of time. The way Primeape evolves into Annihilate is especially strange. You see, there's a certain move that... Are you kidding me? Whoops, looks like we're out of time. Guess we'll have to end the class there for today. Thank you all for your attention. Okay. Okay, certain move, fair enough, but I thought he would have actually mentioned, like, moving about with, like, Pokemon or doing certain silly things like that in order to get them to evolve. I was hoping he would have mentioned that, because that's a unique thing only to this game. But he didn't mention it. Maybe he'll mention it this time. Hello, hello! I hope everyone's ready to learn some new things today. But before we get going, do you all remember the final question from our midterm exam? You will not stop going on about that, will you? You do realise that people will just answer negatively next time because you keep pushing it. You've got your answers. Leave us be! Well, Director Clavel found out about it somehow and I got yelled at. Whoops. Apparently you could tell I was hiding something just by looking at me. Must have noticed the colour flush right out of my face. Speaking of colour, today I'd like you to teach about the colours as they pertain to Pokemon. So we're not going to follow up on Annihilate. Okay, fair enough. It's nice that Primeape's got an evolution though, I didn't actually know that. Some Pokemon have slightly different colorization or patterning on their bodies based on their gender or individual differences. We were going to talk about shinies. In very rare cases, Pokemon may have wildly different colorization compared to the others of the same species. There we go, that's the one. We call these specimens shiny Pokemon. It's quite rare to cross paths with one. They actually teach you about shinies. I know you have a tutorial shiny, like in Legends Arceus with the blue Ponyta, and, you know, Gen 2 and the Gen 2 remakes with the shiny Gyarados in the Lake of Rage, which is part of the story, by the way, because you need to get the red scale. But that's just you bumping into it, and it's not really discussed that it's shiny, it's just part of the lore, or it's a phenomenon, but they actually spell it out here. Does anyone know what the likelihood of finding a shiny Pokemon is? 1 in 4,000. Well, that's right. You may have the makings of a Pokemon professor, Sean. Shiny Pokemon appear at a rate of 1 in 4,000, which I believe is a lot less than what it used to be. Isn't that amazing? The probability of encountering one in the wild is the same as hatching one from an egg too. Eggs from a pair of Pokemon raised around differing languages are a special case. There is a higher than average chance that a shiny Pokemon will hatch from these eggs, but we haven't been able to figure out why that is just yet. Why not ask Game Freak? I've also heard rumours of a charm that increases your likelihood of finding shiny Pokemon when you have it in your bag. Can you believe that? Yes, and Stella wants that, and I can't help with that, even though I have the version, because she's got Violet, which we already know about. This, maybe old Viking can help, actually. This claim can't be scientifically verified, but it would sure be fun if it were true. Check Bulbapedia. Whoop, there's the bell. That's it for today. Thank you for your attention. Well, these are going quick. Hello, hello. I hope everyone's ready to learn some new things today. Next time we meet, we'll have our final exam. That means today is our last actual class. And the topic for this last class will be Pokemon forms. You can just think of forms as the shapes or appearances that Pokemon have. There's also a phenomenon called a form change, where a Pokemon's appearance changes after certain conditions. Cyclozar, for example, which we regularly ride on as transportation here in Paldea, has 3 forms. First is its basic form where it works on 4 legs, second is its battle form where it stands its hind legs to engage in battle, and finally, there's its ride form where it inflates its throat sac and its tail so we can ride on its back. Though we can use something you're all carrying with you now as an even better example. Yep, I'm talking about your phones. Some smartphones are inhabited by a certain Pokemon. It's almost like it's in the name. It's Rotom. Freaking Heracross. That's an option. At least Pikachu makes sense for an electric type. Wow. Freaking Heracross. You're an regular expert Pokemon and technology, aren't you, Sean? The Pokemon inside your smartphone is Rotom, and it does all sorts of things to help you out. I like how that used to be like a stack encounter, and now everybody has Rotom, and yet you can't take out the phone to add it to your team as a temporary party member or something. And also, it speaks English, but then again, you could just use Google Translate or something like that, and obviously Pokemon aren't that dumb. It's interesting, that, isn't it? Like, it was, what game was it? It was Pokemon Sun and Moon. It was Gen 7 that the Rotom phone was kind of introduced. Or the Rotom Dex, as it was back then, because it was still just that. Because it acted like a camera as well. You could play like a light version of Pokemon Snap. A Rotom inside a Rotom phone is special, so it doesn't try to enter other electronics. An ordinary Rotom, however, can change... An ordinary Rotom, so these are specially curated Rotoms. An ordinary Rotom, however, can change form by entering washing machines, microwave ovens, and other electronic appliances. Rotom's a bit of an exception, though. Many Pokemon that change form do so simply by holding an item, or by having one used on them. Oricorio, for example, I can't say that, has 4 different forms they can change in between when given certain nectars. Pokemon may even change type or learn different moves when they change form. Form changes are different from evolution in that the Pokemon can return to its original form. And unlike shiny Pokemon, which can't change their special colorization, the same individual Pokemon can go back and forth between its forms. There's also a lot to dig into with the form change phenomenon, as you can see. We can all learn something from Pokemon here, don't you think? Bit of a stretch, but I'll be happy to see you all enjoy your time at the Academy to the fullest and change form into a new version of yourselves. Or something like that. Oh, I almost forgot. Regional forms, which vary based on what region a Pokemon came from, don't change like other forms. They are innate. Whoops, there's the bell. I guess I was scatterbrained. Mr. Chuck, right up to the very end, huh? Had a great time teaching all of you. I hope you do your best in the final exam. Yeah, that was the thing, because, you know, you got the original forms of Pokemon, which, let's just say, Cantonian, and then you got the Alolan forms, now you got Paldean forms. It's crazy. And then you've got Pokemon that do look the same, but are just a completely different species, like Toedscruel. Like, what? How is that not just a different form of Tentacle? Or Tentacruel? You know what I mean? Makes no sense to me. I guess you got to bump up the Pokédex somehow. Hello everyone, today is our final exam. It'll cover everything I've taught you so far, but I'm sure you'll all do just fine. Take your time and contemplate each question carefully. How many of the following form methods make it easier to catch a Pokemon? How many of the following form methods? Oh, well, that'll be 3. This is basically the same questions we had before, but feeding it a berry is a trick question because you can't do that in this game. So, it's inflicted paralysis using a Poketoy is actually fleeing. Hang on a second. Exposing it from behind, yes. And inflicting paralysis, that's only 2 of those. Almost missed that. True or false, you can get a new Pokemon only by catching them yourself or trading with other trainers. Normally, yes. Your starter Pokemon's a gift, and that's given to you. Oh, is this a trick question? Because, like, you would get... Well, I got mystery gifts as well. That's false. Wait, no. Are mystery gifts included in, like, the meta? Am I overthinking this? I'm going to say false. That might be one potential question down. I need to get the rest of them right. If a Pokemon's holding an Everstone... If a Pokemon is using an Everstone or using an item that induces evolutions as a Firestone causes it to evolve. I don't know! I've never tried that! I've always given it to a Pokemon that evolves by level up, because that's what you do to stop it evolving. I think because you have to confirm using the item, I think it will cause it to evolve. I don't actually know that! I wasn't taught this in class! I don't even have experience on that. What's the probability of running a shiny Pokemon? 1 in 4,000. And true or false, it has 3 forms. No, it has 4. We were just talking about that. This question won't affect your grade. Do you have anything you'd like to say about my class? I'm still getting used to this teaching thing, but I sure had fun as your teacher. Keep teaching! You can do it! Time's up whether you like it or not. I hope everyone enjoyed tackling those questions. I did not say before doing that. That was actually quite tough. I snuck in a little bonus question there right at the end again. Our little secret. Don't tell the director. Well, it was bonus after the 5th one, so I don't think that will count to the grade. I'll grade these right away. I hope you're all looking forward to seeing how you did. That was either really good or really bad. Oh my lord, I nailed it! Okay then. That really threw me for a loop. And also, yeah, using an item with an Everstone because you have to confirm you're going to use an item, it ignores the Everstone. And I thought that I would have got docked an experience candy for not getting a question right, but no, they just straight up give you 5 anyway. Which is very nice. Alright, awesome sauce. Now we're moving on to the math terms. Oh, it's just at the top. Nice. Did I just go down the list, other than doing history? I think I probably did. Also, this is not the rapper gym leader, that's her sister. I've not once seen Arvin or Penny in most of these lessons other than art. It's always been the Mona. Hello everyone, well done on the midterm exam. Some of you have earned perfect scores, others seem to have a bit of trouble, but I can tell you all tried your best. I'm quite pleased to say that every last one of you passed. I can only assume that this means you have all come to love numbers. I mean, we're playing RPG, so it's all about the numbers. Stay sharp and try your best for the rest of my classes too. Speaking of staying sharp, do you know how that word applies to Pokemon battles? That's right, it has to do with stat boosts. The Pokemon stats can rise and fall throughout the course of battle, correct? Everyone needs to stop jumping out of their seats and then sitting back down when we get looked at. For example, when a Pokemon uses the move workup, its attack and special attack stats will rise by 1 stage each. And as you know, each time a Pokemon's attack or special attack raises by 1 stage, moves are affected by that stat will deal 50% more damage. So if that same Pokemon from our previous example were to use workup again, both its attack and special attacks will have risen by 2 stages total. It will result in a 100% damage increase to damage dealt, making its moves twice as strong. Swords Dance, on the other hand, boosts attack by 2 stages at once, allowing the Pokemon to deal double damage with physical attacks after just a single use. Should have probably specified its physical attacks. Using Swords Dance twice would boost the Pokemon's attack stat by 4 stages. How much more damage then would this Pokemon deal? It would be quadruple damage. Ah yes, question's a tricky one, isn't it? Just because it boosts stat by 4 stages doesn't mean it's quadrupled. Wait, what? Oh wait, no, hang on. No, because... No! 200%. No, that would be triple, wouldn't it? Oh my god, I'm stupid. Oh, I can't keep reading this. Wow. So, raised 4 stages will result in a 4 times 50% or 200% increase. Base damage is 100%, so adding 200% gives us 300%. I mean, that's not really how it works, but fair. In other words, the next move this Pokemon uses will do triple damage. It's quadruple damage if you max it out. That's what I got mixed up with. Type matchups, critical hit damage, and other factors all play into these calculations as well, and even a small boost must be taken seriously. By the way, if a stat simply rose, that means it's just gone up by 1 stage. Rose sharply is 2 stages. And if it rose drastically, that's 3 stages. Just so you know, the X-Attack and X-Special Attack items, which can only be used in battle, by the way, can be used to sharply boost those Really? They got buffed? I never use those items. I rarely use those items. They got buffed? Or have they always been like that? I swear it was only by 1 stage, normally. Hang on a minute, I need to check my inventory. Today's lesson was a little difficult, so be sure to review what you learned in order to stay sharp. See you again next class. Hold up a minute. Battle items, here we go. Sharply boosts. That is correct. But hang on a minute, dire hit sharply boosts the critical hit ratio of your Pokemon in battle. Is that like using focus energy twice? You can stack focus energy? Because this is basically focus energy in an item. But now it's double. It's double focus energy. Can you stack focus energy? I didn't know this. Yeah, I mean, that's just guard spec. That's just a safeguard. That's normal. Imagine that, double safeguard. You can't even get hit by the other status problems like Infatuate. Imagine that. Alright, I learned something new. Those items are buffed and are just overall better. Might actually be worth using if I'm struggling. I could have used them in the freaking Psychic Gym. Oh, we're dumb. Could have used those as awesome buffs. That would have been so useful. Hello, everyone. Let's have a fun class today. I'm actually learning. I didn't learn as much from the midterms, but I'm learning a lot through these. Did you make sure to review last class material in order to stay sharp? I know it was a little difficult with all that talk about multiplication of percentages and the like. Well, it was getting hard to read it. I was getting tongue-tied. But today we'll be talking about percentages again and learn about probability. That may sound like we're going to have another difficult class, but did you know that all of you already deal with probability on a regular basis? Pokemon moves generally have a property called accuracy, which determines the probability that they will hit. If the accuracy of tackle is 100%. Used to be 95. And it also had a power of 35, but now it's 40. It got buffed. Basically the same as quick attack without the priority, which is a bit weird. So if you were to use tackle 100 times, you could expect it to hit all 100 times. The move Hypnosis, which puts opponents to sleep, has an accuracy of 60, or 60%. It means you could expect it to hit 60 times in 100 uses. To put that another way, out of 100 uses, you could expect it to miss 40 times. Many of the truly powerful moves often tend to have lower accuracy. So when you're deciding to either go slow and steady with moves that are sure to hit, or hard and fast with stronger but less accurate moves, you're already studying probability. Let me see here. Perhaps Surf and Hydro Pump would be good examples for this discussion. Surf has a power of 90, but its accuracy is 100, meaning you could expect it to hit every time. Hydro Pump's accuracy is only 80%, but when it hits, its power is 110. Yeah, not much of a trade-off. I'd rather go with the 90, because it's only a 20 power difference and you're hitting it all the time. Why would you go for Hydro Pump? It's silly. And plus, in double battles, it could hit everything. So between Surf and Hydro Pump, which move would you want to use yourselves? I'd use Surf. Oh my, see as the slow and steady wins the race for you. Not necessarily, it just makes more sense. 20% more power doesn't really amount to much if you're going to miss. Because then you're going to not do damage, and then you're going to try it again. I may have made it sound like there was a correct answer here, but there's not. You're free to use any moves you wish. Factors like PP, or the number of targets hit, may make some moves more suited to certain situations, as I said with Surf. However, trading accuracy for power or vice versa is surely a matter of preference. This Surf versus Hydro Pump debate has been ongoing for quite some time. Probably since the first generation, actually. Personally, I'm more invested in debating the rock-type moves Rock Slide and Stone Edge. Let me tell you, I could really get worked up talking about these moves, but there's the bell. What a shame. Next class will be the last of our time together, so show up 100% ready to go. Hello everyone, I hope we can have fun once again today for our last class together. Last time we learned about probability using the move accuracy as an example. Probability is quite an interesting subject. Did you know that in a class with 40 students, there is a 90% chance that 2 of them will have the same birthday? This is true even despite the fact there are over 300 days each year. Isn't that remarkable? Could have said 350, it would still be accurate. But let's move on to today's topic before we get swept along with probability again. I've been teaching you all how to calculate damage in this class using examples like type matchups, critical hits, stat boosts, and the like. All these variables are multiplied together to calculate damage dealt to an opponent. However, did you know that there is an even simpler way to increase the damage of your Pokemon's moves? All you have to do is you have your Pokemon use the move it shares a type with. It's called Stab. If a Rock-type Pokemon uses a Rock-type move, like Stone Edge, the move's base power of 100 is multiplied by 1.5 to become 150. Ground and Rock Pokemon may seem like similar types, but if a Ground Pokemon uses Stone Edge, the move will remain at 100. Super effective moves and critical hits also add multipliers on this little numerical increase. Also, I just noticed super effective without space. So most certainly not to be taken lightly. Let me ask you a question to see if you understand what I'm talking about here. Say you have a move with a power of 100. A Pokemon that shares a type with this move uses it and hits an opponent that is weak to that type. What's that move's power? It gets doubled to 150, but then it gets doubled again. Yeah, it goes to 1.5 for the same type of attack bonus, then it gets doubled, so it's 300. Did that calculation in your head? A nice spell. I literally said that as my answer. First, using the move that... I basically just said this. The original power of the move ends up being tripled. Isn't that amazing? What's more, if a Pokemon terrestrializes and its Terra type matches one of its original types... Oh! Matches its original type? I thought it had to match the Terra type. The bonus it gets for using a move of that same type increases from 1.5 to 2. Is that why the gym leaders do that? They have the type coverage, but they use their same typing? Of course, being able to use a lot of moves with different types is great as well. There's one way you can surprise your opponent. It's called type coverage. In the end, your own innate characteristics will really make you shine the most. Bear in mind that is true for both humans and Pokemon. I'll be sure happy to if you take these words to heart. But I suppose I should really have shared this basic advice right from our first lesson. My apologies. And just like that, class is over. The last of our time together flew by in a blink of an eye. It was so much fun to be able to teach you all eager students about numbers. Next class will be our final fun exam. Be sure to review the material well in preparation. Alright everyone, it's time to begin our final exam. I'm sure the fun experience you all had in my class will serve you well as you answer. I'm guessing if I don't pass, I'll just try it again, so I haven't been bothering to save. How many Great Balls could you purchase with 3,000 if each one cost 600? You could only... Wait. Hang on a minute. No, because it'll be less than... Yeah, so I was about to say, because that's not gonna... It'll have to be 5, because you can't get any more than that. I'm sorry for the cuts. I cannot read all of a sudden. If a water-type move with a power of 100 lands a critical hit on a grass-type Pokemon, what will the move be? Water with power 100 on a grass-type will be halved, because it's not very effective. Under normal conditions, what % chance does Stone Edge have to land a critical hit? Normal conditions. I can't remember. Does Stone Edge get a higher critical hit chance? Higher critical hit chance moves have 4%. Why can't I remember? I do like Rock Slide more than Stone Edge. That might be why I can't remember. It has a high critical hit ratio, doesn't it? No, because it's stronger. It's stronger than... Why can't I remember this? I'm going to say 12. If a Pokemon uses Sword Dance twice to boost its attack by 4 stages, then it's triple damage, you watermelon. If it's maxed out at 6 stages, it's quadruple. If a Rock-type Pokemon whose Terra type is Rock terrestrializes... Oh, it has to terrestrialize into the same type. So then it gets the stab bonus from its original typing and its Terra typing. They both need to match. Okay, now I get it. So yeah, that's ×2. Alright everyone, time is up. Put your hands on your laps now. The test was a culmination of all I taught you. I'm sure you all did just fine. Do go and ask for the scores at the front desk and then take a nice break. Oh, I'm doing all the lessons. Hey, 4 out of 5. I must have messed up somewhere. It was probably the critical hit. I got the M's. Nice. Happy days. Alright, moving on to the battle studies, because I think we left languages for last. Miss Dendra. It's still nighttime. I've always got this Gengar smiling at me. Another day, another round of battle study. Zoo, let's get to it. You all gave everything you had on the midterm exams. Well done. We'll resume our regular classes today, so keep up the energy for the second half of the term. Have you all been using the R button to send out your Pokemon? If you do, your Pokemon will run off in the direction you're facing. Super useful tactic that lets your Pokemon pick up faraway items for you, and that's not all. I don't actually use it for that, I just fight Pokemon quickly without needing to enter battle every 10 seconds. If there's a wild Pokemon near where you send out your Pokemon, they'll start battling each other. We call these battles auto battles. Just that this Medicham is just throwing fists, he's pumped. Just the name implies, your Pokemon will act on its own during auto battles, meaning you won't have to give it any commands. Actually, you know what, that reminds me of the Mystery Dungeon games, because your partners kind of act without your commands unless you literally pause and do something, because, yeah, it's kind of interesting that. If your Pokemon wins, you get experience points just as you would in a regular battle. To make good use of these battles, they could be a really efficient way to train your party. But you'll want to remember that Pokemon won't evolve or learn new moves by the way if they level up on an auto battle. Also, if a Pokemon loses an auto battle, it will come back with just a small amount of HP left. Make sure to heal it up right away. Yeah, it gets slapped and it just runs off. Whoops. I did just about a whole class as a one-sided lecture. Does anyone have any questions so far? No questions here. Great, you're really good at this. I can't wait to see how you go from here. Because I know you can't catch Pokemon during auto battles, and I know you can't cancel it. Once your Pokemon's gone, it's committed. So, yeah, no questions. Even during auto battles, our Pokemon are out there battling for us, their trainers. Keep an eye on them as much as possible, and if it looks like they're going to lose, be sure to have them retreat. Also, this goes without saying, but Pokemon with low HP are already worn out. They probably won't enjoy auto battles as much, so don't work them too hard, okay? In conclusion, auto battles only work if a trainer and their Pokemon have a relationship of mutual trust. Be smart to how you use your auto battles so you don't lose trust of your Pokemon. Yeah, happiness will go down. And again, why doesn't Amona in this class? She should know all this, she's champion. Oh man, just I was about to suggest we do some hands-on practice to really drive the point home. I guess we ran out of time as usual. How are we going to do that? There's no wild Pokemon here, except for maybe that one Pokemon that was sleeping next to the gardens to the left there, which Salvatore was looking after. Class is over for now. Take care, you little rascals. You know, for a school that has this ring and stadium, and the fact that, you know, this is basically PE, physical education, in a sense, we sure don't do a lot, do we? Another day, another round of battle study. Zoo, let's get right to it. I hope you gave auto battles a shot like we talked about last class. Making good use of auto battles will let you train up a bunch of different Pokemon. It's also an efficient way to gather the Pokemon materials you need to make TMs at TM machines. Speaking of which, have you all been using the TM machines? Well, every time I try to use TMs, but I've found more than what I've made, which is amazing. I sure hope so, because it's pop quiz time. To create TMs, you need Pokemon materials and one other thing. Can anyone remember what that is? League points! Or money. Looks like you're already a TM Machine Pro, new kid. The correct answer is League Points, or LP for short. You can give LP and Pokemon materials to a TM machine to create TMs, but that's not all. You can also exchange Pokemon materials at a TM machine to get League Points. I recently heard about some shady individuals getting LP illegally using a technique called hacking, or something like that. Okay. Don't want any of you getting involved in bad stuff like that, got it? I mean, if you get hacked, it's kind of not your fault. Anyway, you can also add TMs that you want to make to your watch list. This will let you keep an eye on what materials you need to gather. That's a thing. It would have been easier to keep track of when I wanted to make a couple of TMs. In conclusion, in order to make TMs, you need Pokemon materials. If you want to get a hold of lots of materials, you have to battle all kinds of Pokemon. Oh, just about suggest we just had some practice before you drive that point home. We don't have a Poke Center up here! Why are we doing these lessons up here? We don't have the facilities! That's a point. There should be some healing machines up here, so you can actually do battles. Just saying. Uzu, this is our last class, but don't let those energy levels drop before we wrap things up. We haven't once done any practical stuff up here. There's a chunky next to me. You've shown that you have more than enough knowledge to be super strong battlers. I don't know if I have that much left to teach you. But we can always aim for ever greater heights. So today I'm going to teach you about the rules of link battles. When two trainers participate in link battles together, they can engage in either single battles or double battles with each other. So you're telling me about the multiplayer versus mode. Okay. Battling people. This is basically, hey, you can battle with real life people and not just wild Pokemon and NPCs, like us! And if you're playing in a group of 4, you can all battle in a multi-battle. Now, when you're out having battles during your independent study, you can use whatever number of Pokemon you like. They could be any level. That's not true. You only have 6, don't lie to me. I'm not going to go over an army of 10. But in link battles, there are special rules to keep in mind. One of these special rules involve adjusting Pokemon's levels. Now, the no restrictions rule set lets all Pokemon stay at their current level. It lets trainers use multiple Pokemon of the same species and multiple of the same held item too. Yeah, that anything goes, basically. But if you choose normal rules, all Pokemon will be set to level 50 for your battles, regardless of what level they actually are. This even includes lower level Pokemon. They'll get a power boost to participate. Normal rules lets you use multiples of the same Pokemon species and the same held items too. The great part about this rule set is it lets any of your Pokemon participate. All they have to do is learn some good moves. I believe effort values as well as their individual values do play a part in that, so if you have trained a Pokemon, even if it's weak or stronger, when they get knocked down to their level 50 base stats, obviously their effort values and individual values still carry over, and do play a big part, so you can still do level 50 matches if you've trained your Pokemon correctly. Lastly, the rule set called Flat Rules mostly affects Pokemon over level 50, such Pokemon will be set to level 50 for the duration of the battle. Flat rule set is one often used for official tournaments. This rule set does not allow trainers to use multiple Pokemon of the same species or multiples of the same held item. Alright, here's a question for you. Which rule set should you pick if you want to use a lower level Pokemon and keep its level low? Normal rules. No, wait. Flat rules. Yeah, flat rules is that if it's above level 50, it goes down. That she just said that, and for some reason I forgot that. Because normal rules I always use anyway. If you got some clever strategy that you need to use a level 5 Pokemon for, the best bet is to use the flat rules rule set. Of course, you can also choose no restrictions if you want to battle with any Pokemon you want, and that wasn't an option. That's what I was thinking of. Pretty good rule set for when you want to battle freely with friends. In conclusion, normal rules adjust all Pokemon at level 50, flat rules let you use lower level Pokemon at their actual levels. I hope you use these tips for some exciting battles with your friends. And that would just be general Pokemon battles here anyway, but at the same time... Actually, I just noticed Arvin's over there. Where have you been, buddy? Next class will be our final exam. Aim for a perfect score. Azoo, azoo! It's finally game day. Today is our final exam. Put on those game faces and do battle with those test sheets. RIP! I'm done with the test, madam. Which cheer boosts attack and special attack for all allies in a turbo battle? Go all out, I would assume. What would go all in do? Out we go with speed, I guess. Go all out. What do we call the battles that Pokemon sent out with the R button built on their own? They're auto battles. How should you obtain LP? Hack the system. Renegade! No. We got it. Well, we're supposed to exchange materials. That's what she suggested, at least. So I'm going to go with that answer. High-level Pokemon are adjusted to what level when using flat rules, level 50. Because flat rules, as she's mentioned, anything above level 50 goes down to level 50. Anything below level 50 stays at its level. It's like a halfway between. It's basically half anything goes and half not. When using normal rules, you can use multiple Pokemon of the same species and multiples of the same held item. Yes. Wait, that was it? That was quick. I saw you giving it everything you got. I'm sure you all got perfect scores. You all did so well in my class. If you pass this test, you'll officially be Battle Masters. Masters? Most of us don't have a badge, I would assume. Now go ask your surely stellar scores at the front desk, you little rascals. Hey, perfect score. Nice. Got more experience, cat. I've got so many. I'm not going to check them though. I would rather see how many we actually got. I mean, obviously it's 5 each, so it's not hard to do the math about that. But yeah. Home economics now. Let's make some sandwiches. Which I'm never going to do, because it possessed Stella last time. That was way back at the start of this. Put away your phones, it's time to begin class. Though some of you had to retake the midterm exam multiple times, I'm glad to say that the majority of the class passed without issue. Really? Okay. I feel honoured to see that the knowledge and skills indispensable for daily life have taken root in all of you. I trust that you would all work just as hard on your life skills in the second half of our course as well. It just shows you that people just want to coast through life. Let us now turn our attention to the topic of the day, which is inspired by a question I received on the subject of meal powers. The student who asked this question is a young man who enjoys the culinary arts. Silent. He tells me that he regularly researches culinary techniques on his own and pays careful attention to the ingredients he uses. It could be Arvin, actually. He also spends day and night. Yet despite this, he is baffled by his inability to increase the effectiveness of his meal powers. So tell me, Master Sean, since you did quite well in your midterm exam, is that actually a factor? I knew it was Arvin. What should, this young man do to increase the effectiveness of his meal powers? He should make food more often. Arvin? Do I call him out? Nah. Make food with other people. Perfectly correct. I see that you are knowledgeable in the culinary arts. I could have absolutely called him out. Panda Man, I dare you to do that. Choose Arvin. To increase the effectiveness of meal powers, your sandwiches must be filled with many different ingredients. For a single person, this may prove difficult, but you could prepare a sandwich with others, you'll be able to handle a larger serving of bread. With a larger base to start with, it becomes quite simple to add more ingredients to your sandwich, which in turn makes it possible to receive meal powers of increased effectiveness. This applies more broadly as well. When dealing with a difficult issue, working with others to solve that issue may be the best course of action. Teamwork! I saw the exclamation mark because he's literally just called him out anyway, never mind. I'm sure that Arvin will likewise work with friends to craft the sandwiches in the future. The identity of the male student is a matter of privacy, so I would ask that you do not pry too deeply. Our time together has come to an end today. I bid you all farewell. I'm surprised Arvin didn't pipe up right there. Say, hey! Rude! Put away your phones. It's time to begin class. While you're out performing field work with one of your Pokemon walking alongside you, have you ever noticed changes in its coloration? Now, I don't mean it suddenly becomes a shiny Pokemon or any nonsense like that. What? I thought that was how I could get shinies. They just become happy and start shining. I'm speaking of it becoming filthy! Pokemon battle. They get hurt by moves used against them. They get battered by wind and rain. They get covered in sand and mud. They, in the word, get filthy. Have you ever seen many a trainer walking about with a double load of Pokemon without addressing this issue? It's deplorable. Uh-oh. We don't do picnics often. I've been a bad trainer. It's not like, you know, in Gens 7 and 8, where 6 and 7, excuse me, where, you know, you go into your own little bubble and you can just clean your Pokemon and give them pets and shit. You have to set up a camp, and that's janky. We've experienced this. Ooh. Let me ask this question for someone who I am sure would not tolerate such shameful conduct. Please don't ask me that question. Mate. Why? What should you do if your Pokemon is dirty? Clean it up! I'm a bad trainer! I knew you would count on you to find me for such an answer. I didn't even know. When your Pokemon are dirty, clean them. This is, of course, simply common sense. Common sense doesn't exist, sir. It takes active effort. Past few years have taught me that. It's a trigger. While you're having a picnic, you can approach... See, this is the thing. I don't do picnics in this game. You can approach the Pokemon on your team and perform a variety of actions. One such action is putting them through what I like to call the Pokemon wash. In other words, you're able to clean them up. I think I'm going to be able to do that at the end of next video after doing a bit of exploration, because I don't think we've got a lot of exploration to do since I have to talk to literally everybody. You start by getting your sponge lathered up with soapy bubbles as you gently and carefully scrub your Pokemon. Once your Pokemon is nice and covered in soapy bubbles, bubbles will encapsulate the filth and simply wash it away with a spray of water. This will get your Pokemon clean and shining bright as a Pterodactyl. Certainly quite a bit of work, but this will also restore HP and cure status conditions. I thought just making a sandwich would do that. That's what you said last time. So literally doing anything with your Pokemon in a picnic will heal them. Okay, that's useful to know. So I could just set up a picnic, not use any ingredients, and just give them a clean. Is it a full restore? Because if you don't have any full restores and you're out in the white wilderness and you don't know what you're doing, you could just have free heals whenever you need. However, some Pokemon may have parts of their bodies that they don't want scrubbed or that they'd rather not get wet. Probably like, for example, since all starters are back in the latest DLC, a Charmander's tail, for example. That's the... Or maybe a Pikachu's cheeks. Be sure to keep this in mind when cleaning your Pokemon. Now, the most important point I must mention is that some Pokemon like to be dirty. Though I will contradict myself in saying this, please do remember that cleaning your Pokemon is not always the kind thing to do. Well, if it's like a ground type, yeah, they probably don't want to get cleaned because they're weak to water. Our time together has come to an end for today. I bid you all farewell. Yeah, I think after I've done the short little trip around the faculty, next episode, I have to give my Pokemon a clean. Put away your phones, it's time to begin our last class together. Home economics is the study of life's necessities, but looking back on our time together, I realised that I focused almost entirely on food. I mean, it's the source of life. Hope it's not too late to shift into a discussion of clothing, another necessity in our last class. Dude, you wear an apron. As I'm sure you are aware, our academy has been an air of freedom about it. We provide uniforms for each season to accommodate the diverse climate of Paldea. However, students are free to wear whichever style they wish whenever they please. You should all have received 4 sets of tops and bottoms, one for each of spring, summer, fall and winter, when the academy accepted you. If by chance you are not aware of this, you may wish to pursue your wardrobe. As long as you wear a school uniform, the rest of your ensemble need not be school issued. This includes your bag and your hat, and if you choose to wear one, you're even free to style your hair however you wish. Mr. Salvatore's hairstyle, for example, would almost certainly have been against school rules when I was a boy. What about your spiky do? That reminds me. There's one more thing I'd like you all to decorate, which I must say I find quite charming. Rotom phones? Perfectly correct. That's the adorable little thing I was speaking of. That interests me so. I must admit, I am fascinated by Rotom phones and how to customize them. You just get a case. What's that? How very intriguing. So there's a shop called Delibird Presents where you can purchase cases for your Rotom phones. Oh, thank you for that little useful bit of information. I have to go myself first thing tomorrow and get an adorable case of my own liking. Forgive me, I seem to have gotten a little carried away with this small talk. As this class is known as Home Economics nears its end, I offer these final words to you who have been honing everyday life skills with me. My field of study is not so divisive as the likes of mathematics, for instance, where test scores might play a part in deciding your future. However, as you go on to cook for yourselves, take good care of your Pokemon and decide what to wear in the morning when you awaken. I would be honoured if what I've taught you serves to smooth it out and enrich your lives, even if only a little. This sentiment was imparted to me by Mr. Hassel and his particular outlook on such matters. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for seeing my class through to the end. Our time together has come to a close for today. Prepared to do your best on our final exam. Time has come to test how well you all have learned in my class. Let's begin before the information simmering in your brains from a last-minute cram session fades. Which of the following meal powers makes it easier to come across shiny Pokemon that's sparkling power? Which of the following is not an effect of egg power? It helps hatch strong Pokemon. I would assume so, because the Pokemon that's hatching is what you're breeding. What is a simple yet important tactic for increasing the effectiveness of meal powers? Make food more often. No, hang on. What is a simple yet important tactic for increasing the effectiveness of meal powers? With others. I've read that wrong. What is the correct action to take when your adorable Pokemon become dirty? Pokemon Wash. Pokemon Dash. Pokemon Dash? That was a DS launch title. And that was awesome, because if you stuck a Game Boy Advance game and you had your party, it would make basically 6 courses based off the sprite, the party sprite of that Pokemon. That was awesome. That was an awesome little side game. There's a question about Academy rules. Should you change your uniform tops and bottoms to properly match each season? It does not matter. Time for answering questions come to an end. Please stop writing. I made the questions a little easier than I planned to, as a way of saying thank you for informing me about rotten form cases. I trust that you all gave this exam everything you had, so you not have to retake it. Please remember to ask for your scores at the front desk before leaving for the day. So how did I do with the sandwich making, identity leaking dude? 5 out of 5. That's another 5 medium candies for me. I am really stuttering on my speech right now. I don't know why. It's because I'm on a roll. Let's take some art. With Mr. Hassel. Or shall I say Lloyd from Spy Family with a bad haircut. Hello class, it is I, Hassel yet again. I am pleased to say that everybody did very well on their midterm exams. As a reward for all your hard work, we have a special guest visiting us today. It's going to be Gibble again, isn't it? Now then, Brassy, please come on in. Brassius? And he's got a whip. Why's he got a whip? He's like the old Tamers. I am Brassius. I'm an artist, and I focus exclusively on grass-type Pokemon for my work. Brassius here mainly creates three-dimensional pieces, such as statues and the like. One of his major works is the installation titled Surrendering Sunflora, found in Artisan. Many of you who have challenged the Artisan Gym are no doubt familiar with these sculptures. This person doesn't even care about the lesson, they're just doing their own thing. Yes, I do recognise some faces among these students. I hope you all understand how fortunate you are to be able to attend Hass's class. Oh, Hass is the man who saved me when I had lost all hope and given up on myself. But he never gave up on me. I do not exaggerate when I say he's my mentor in life. It is precisely thanks to Hass that I was able to establish my current art style. Ah, dear Brassy. I have nothing against reminiscing about old times, but today I hope you'll guide this class in a way only you can. Of course. Let's see. Why don't we discuss what Hass mentioned, surrendering Sunflora. Can anyone tell me what my mood was when I crafted this detached expression? Sad mood? No, completely and utterly wrong. When I made that sculpture, I had surrendered all hope. I was prepared to give up everything. I had resolved to give up my life as an artist if that piece did not receive proper recognition. Hence the name Surrendering Sunflora? That's exactly it, Hass. When I started out as an artist, I experienced many hardships. I even became deathly ill and fell into a slump that drove me into desperation. Depression sounded accurate. I began worrying about what would sell. I was concerned only with fame and fortune. All my pieces during this time had no depth. They were all shallow trash. That's when I met Hass. He helped me realise how petty I was being. I'll spare you the details, but in the end I was able to leave all that behind. And that's how I crafted the Sun Formula. What options did I have? Did I choose it wrong, or was it just none of them accurate and he would have just told us? Did not know the full story until now. This kind of thing is hard to tell someone, especially when they're so close to you. Now, I often doubt that you adolescents will often find your heads crowded with worries. My advice to you is simple. Be honest with yourself and do whatever your heart desires. As long as you don't cause trouble, that is. That's all from me. I must admit, I'm beginning to feel a bit embarrassed, so I bid you farewell, Hass. And farewell to your pupils as well. Oh, Brassy. Can't believe it. Such a wonderful class. Thank you so much. Well, that's not what I was expecting. I hope that's not going to be on the test. Because I don't even know if I answered right or if it was the right answer. I said sad mood and then he was like I was desperate. Hello class, here's I Hassel yet again. First, allow me to apologise for losing my composure during our last class. I was so touched by Brassy's story I simply couldn't contain my emotions. I'm sorry for making such a scene. Certainly got a very stern talking to from Miss Time after that class, yes. Anyway, let's shift gears and dive into the material for today's class. Now, have you ever heard of the 10 sites of Paldea? As the name would imply, there are 10 sites of Paldea that are considered particularly beautiful. We talked about this last time. The game is a mess to look at sometimes. Among them, I would say that the Grand Olive Orchard is likely the most accessible. You can see field after field of olive trees from the hill on the way to Cortondo. Can you though? Wouldn't they not be blipping in and out of existence or just not visible until we approach to a certain distance? Would it not just be an empty field until we get close enough? I'm just saying, was the text written before like any potential polish could have been done? I'm just asking, I'm not trying to be rude. 2 waterfalls are also counted among these 10 sites, Fury Falls and Casaroya Falls. Then there's the peak of Glacado Mountain, known as Paldea's highest peak. Another cliff on Glacado Mountain that's named after its rather unique shape. So let me ask you, my students, what was the name of the 3-pronged cliff on Glacado Mountain? No need to grasp at straws. Glacado's Reach, because there's no need to grasp. Was that a clue? Very good guess. I'd think something reaching would stretch out further on. 3-pronged cliff is named Glacado's Grasp. Oh, no, you need to grasp at Straw's brain. Though its shape is far too stubby to be that of a human hand, I imagine someone thought it looked like a Pokemon hand grabbing something. There's also the mountains of Area 3 of the East Province. We can get a good look at Levencia, particularly gorgeous at night. In fact, the view is so brilliant, it's known as the Million Volt Skyline. I'm not going to remember any of this. I hear it's quite a hot spot for dates, and deservedly for having such a romantic view. Imagine it's, what do the kids see these days, a very, bleak selfie spot? Who says I'm fleek these days? Of course, you may feel that all 10 sites live up to the grandiose names. How often do we visit some tourist spot only to be disappointed? Not to say that you shouldn't visit them, only that you should keep your hopes in check. The important thing is to go around and see for yourself with your own 2 eyes. And sometimes a disappointing experience can be worthwhile in its own way. Take a chance. Well, that's it for today's class. Thank you for your attention. Hello class, it is I Hassel yet again. My, how time flies, as they say. Indeed, our time together has certainly flown by. It's hard to believe that this is our last class. Now, our topics for today may feel somewhat unrelated to art, but there is absolutely no set definition as to what art should be. Therefore, let us carry on with the discussion and see where it takes us. There are 2 things I wish to focus on today, ribbons and marks. Really? Marks? I used to use them when I was young, like, if it's like basic, first stage, second stage, circle, square, diamond, or triangle, whatever. Both ribbons and marks are special honors that capture a Pokemon's qualities. There will be times when your Pokemon gives maximum effort as a noteworthy experience. In recognition of its feats and accomplishments, it can be given a ribbon. For example, if you manage to become incredibly close to a Pokemon, you may be granted the Best Friends ribbon. Incidentally, there is a person in Cascafra who can give your Pokemon a Best Friends ribbon. Marks, on the other hand, are mostly found on wild Pokemon when you meet them for the first time. Oh, those kind of marks. They can symbolize the character of a Pokemon, such as with the Rowdy mark or the Vigor mark. It's completely up to luck whether you run into a Pokemon with these marks. So if you're able to catch a Pokemon with a mark, rejoice at your outstanding fortune. Does anyone know what special thing you can do with Pokemon that have ribbons or marks? You can show them off? Oh yes, indeed you can show them off, but that surely is not the extent of your interest, is it? Correct answer is that your Pokemon with ribbons can be given titles. Can they? What's more, they can be sent into battle displaying a title of your choosing. For example, if you send out a Gibble with a Best Friends ribbon by declaring, "Go Gibble the Great Friend." This is a thing? And while I know I just said that marks are generally found already on Pokemon when you meet them for the first time, it seems that more recently Pokemon can be awarded certain marks based on their efforts. There are marks as the Gourmand mark, Item Finder mark, Partner mark, and so on. Perhaps it might be fun to try and work out how to get each mark by using its name as a clue. So if I make a Pokemon pick up a note of items, it might get an Item Finder mark? I don't even know what these marks are. This is new to me. Well, that wraps up our last class. Next to the final exam, I am going to fail. And the thing is as well, they expect you to basically do all the lessons as well as the midterms all in one go. So you retain the knowledge, because otherwise you're going to forget. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to do the sensible thing here and save on this one. Because I am most certainly going to struggle here. Also, we have Chonky up front. Let's put Kizar up front. So it pops out at any point. Because Chonky was next to me in the battle studies. Gotta have the meme, you know. I do hope you're all ready because it's time for your final exam. Focus and do your best. And begin! What is the name of the restaurant where you can change a Pokemon's Terra type? The Treasure Eatery? I have no idea. I don't go to the restaurant. Even though I find the restaurants every time I go to a new town, which I think we've been to every town now, I didn't actually go into them. What is the name of Brassius' signature art installation that we discussed in class? That's the Surrendering Sunflower. Thank God I don't need to try and figure out how, what the answer was during the lesson. How many waterfalls are counted among the 10 sites of Paldea? I remember him mentioning 2. Where can you find the Million Volt Skyline? Levencia. The marks a Pokemon has are present when you first meet, and none can be added later. Well, he said it was an extremely rare thing, but Item Finder mark, I would assume you could earn that. So I'm going to say false. Time's up. That's it for today's test. Pencils down, please. Not exactly the questions I was expecting, to be fair. Thank you all so much for learning about art with me. The time we shared has left a mark that I will treasure, I promise you. And it's my sincere wish that will you go on to even greater and more prosperous futures. I actually pressed the A button and my input got eaten for a second there. It kind of lagged, kind of hung a couple of times there, I noticed. And that's that. Good work, everyone. You can receive your results on the front desk. Why am I still getting, like, weird frame drops and, like, when we're in the very tiny rooms? Like, you're telling me Mesagoza's rendered outside or something? Are we, like, in a box in the sky way above or something? I'd like to know. Can we get another Boundary Break episode, please? I actually got 5 out of 5. What? Okay, I was worried for nothing. Well, we're down to our final set of lessons now. And that is with Monsieur Salvatore with the language lessons. So let's go through them. And I apologise for butchering any languages. How did you like the midterm exam? You all did really great. We're halfway there. Now it's time for another lesson. Is Ruth Prey? Are you ready? Whee! Bon response. Response. Wow, brain. Immediate screw up. Mercy, my friends. I knew you would count on your stars. Leading up to the midterm, we learned all sorts of words from different regions. Starting today, though, I'll be throwing a curveball. Before we begin listening, comprehension. Vas-y. Go for it, my assistants. A Pikachu. Seriously, you couldn't have the voice clip? Like, seriously? As you just heard, Pokemon can also use words to communicate. But it's not always easy for us to understand them, but their words have meaning, just as ours do. Pokemon can use language to share all kinds of information with each other, like the location of food or whether there may be predators nearby. The same Pokemon's cries may sound different depending on what it wants to say. I'm sure you're curious, so aujourd'hui, today, that is, let's learn some Pokemon language. I think my anime knowledge is going to come in here. Je t'en prie, if you'll be so kind, Pikachu. What emotion do you suppose Pikachu was trying to convey just now? Say it again, Pikachu! I would assume that is happiness. Sorry, Sean, that's not right. Pokemon's language is hard, isn't it? But we asked him to say it again, and he was happy to do so. When Pikachu says... It's using its angry voice. I mean... Could at least furrow your brows or something. Bit of a serious look, but you just have the default look. You look happy. Like, what's this? You don't call this happy? Bloody hell. That's right, I had my little Pikachu friend here pretend to be angry for us. Do you think he did a great job? See, he's happy! Give Pikachu a round of applause, everyone. They actually... What? There's actually an applause. I did not need to put that in. Okay. That's shocking. The same Pokemon can even communicate its feelings in many different ways. That's the thing, though. Like, the cry didn't even change. It was literally just look at the words. You look at the Pokemon, and nothing conveyed anger. How are you supposed to get that right? Unless you put little angry lines above its eyes or something. Or maybe give it a bit more of a deep, or make the sound effect go a little bit longer. Or lower pitch or something, you know, anything to convey that it was angry, because it literally uses the same cry for literally everything out of the context. I'm just saying that's, and yet you're able to put in an applause. So I don't know. Again, quality is just all over the place. Their voices change depending on their mood and physical condition. Try listening more carefully to Pokemon. You might get a deeper understanding of it. Wouldn't it not have been so hard to, like, use a couple of, you know, Pikachu's actual voice lines? Like, seriously? You couldn't do that? Because I know for a fact Ed Sheeran's Celestial is during the credits. But you couldn't put in a Pika-P. I don't understand you. And now, I promise nothing, let me give you one of my wise words of advice. If you poke at your Pokemon too many times while washing them during the picnics, wow, okay, we're getting more information about this now, they'll get mad at you, just like Pikachu just demonstrated. Didn't even, like, do an angry movement. Well, adios, matinee, à la prochaine. See you later, everyone. My dear friends, how are you all today? Hope you're doing marvellously well. It's time for another of Salvatore's language lessons. Et vous prêt? Are you ready? Yes. I would expect no less from my excellent friends. Even your replies to my questions are excellent. Aujourd'hui, today, we'll once again be focusing on listening. Oh, not again. What did I just say? Okay, I'm going to be listening really carefully to see if the cry is different. As you may remember from our last class, the same Pokemon's cries may sound different depending on what it wants to say. Today, that is, we'll be learning more about language used by Pokemon. Right, I'm going to listen and see if it's different. Maybe it's tied to the animation. Same cry, it sounded the same to me. So you have to look at the text. But that sounds like a subdued, like, Pika. Sounds a little bleak, doesn't it? Seems the voice is a little pitched up. Was it? Say it again, Pikachu? Let me hear that. See, that's lower pitched. It even specifies that. It didn't sound like that. Maybe it was because it was its default battle cry, and therefore it would be angry because you're in a Pokemon battle. Maybe I missed that bit. Well, this one is definitely sadness. Ding, ding, ding. That's right, Sean. Fantastic. When Pikachu says... It's expressing sadness. Kind of makes you want to cry, doesn't it? That's right. I had my little Pikachu cry as if it was crying. Funny joke, right? Not really. Round of applause for Pikachu! Actually, it's not got a bit of a texture going on. Oh, I was about to double tap to zoom in, but then it went back to Salvatore. It looked like Pikachu had a bit of a weird texture going on. If you hear one of your Pokemon making sad noises like this one, you should treat them with even more kindness than usual. So, yeah, maybe last time it swerved me because it was its default, and because you would be in battle and you would hear the default, that would be the angry one. Because normally, like, when you make a Pokemon happy, they, like, kind of repeat their cry halfway through making their cry, like a bibbida bibbida bomb, like that, some sort of thing. So, maybe that was it, but it's... Again, the animation made it look like it was more happy than anything. It was sitting there smiling. Probably only knew that, though. A piece of cake for you all, I'm sure. Of course, this goes for your classmates and others as well. Friends should support each other in times of sadness. I truly hope that you have smiles on your faces all the time, my friends. Pochain Core. Next lesson, that is, will be our final lesson together. Hope you're ready for the climactic finale. Adios, matinee. Would you believe these lessons have almost taken me 2 hours to do? My dear friends, how are you all today? It's time for the last of Salvatore's language lessons. If we're pre, you ready? Whee! Might as well give him something. What a response fantastic. Wow. Why can I not say that? We will once again be having a listening lesson. It's Pikachu again. Right, this is going to be the last one. Actually, that scribe was a little bit different. Tell everyone how you're feeling right now. Cha! Oh, can you feel that? That one contagious emotion in Pikachu's voice. Surprise? No, it was happiness. Okay. I was going to say happiness this time, but that was a new option, and I thought maybe that was the swerve. Oh my, did Pikachu sound surprised to you? When Pikachu says... It's expressing happiness. Doesn't it make you just want to break out into a happy dance? Well, I didn't have Pikachu put on an act today. Oh no, I simply asked it to show you how I felt about getting to have class with you. I cannot communicate with Pikachus, apparently. Getting to meet so many new friends and study together in the class with you made me both me and my little Pikachu so very happy. So much I'm getting tongue-tied, which is impressive considering how many languages I speak. And now, I promise of nothing, let me give you one last word of advice. As you live your lives, I'm sure you'll all have times when you get mad or sad, maybe even more than you would like. Everything has its ups and downs. Life is a veritable roller coaster. But, Alafin, in the end, that is surely happiness waiting for you. So, Guardia la Soirée, keep a smile on your face, even in the hardest of times. Best you can hope for, really. That is a good, that's good advice, isn't it? When you're faced with a problem that you can't handle alone, find someone to rely on, be it a teacher, your family, your friends, anyone. Our Pochain Core, next lesson, will be our final exam. Be sure to review what we learned in all of our lessons so far. Adios, matinee. Please don't have any Pikachu writing questions here. He's already out of the bowl! He heard me! Adieu, today we take our final exam. Détends us, relax, that is, and do your best. If vous prêt, are you ready? Let's begin. Which of the following means delicious? Delicious. I don't know why I say it like that. What do these two foreign phrases mean? That's I love you. Oh, are you kidding? Well, we know that that's angry. Based on what you just heard, what emotion do you think Pikachu was expressing? Anger. That is happiness. Oh, is that it? Okay, you just did those back to back. What is your beloved teacher's name? We had this before! C'est fini, time is up. Pause vos stylos. Put down your pens, that is. I assume the obligatory dernier question, last question is, gave you no trouble. Yeah, I'm guessing it's because that with all the languages, you're going to forget who this guy is, but he's Salvatore, look at him. Actually, I just noticed he's got jazzy glasses, like mirror glasses. I'm sure you all did great. Bravo, my friends. You can get your scores at the school's front desk. Okay, so the Pikachu, once you know what Pikachu says, you kind of know what to do. Kind of like with the anime, because you know that like PPP is basically Pikachu saying Togepi, Pika-P is basically Ash or Trainer, Master, whatever. So you kind of get that, but this was just more basic. But it was with the actual Pikachu Game Boy cry, which did swerve me originally. And this Psyduck is just celebrating the fact that I've got through all these lessons and I've just hit over 2 hours of recording. Let's get through this text and let's see what we got. 5 out of 5. Well, I didn't actually do that bad in the end. And that's all the lessons done, isn't it? You have now finished all your classes and passed all of your exams. I have this for you from Director Clavel. Oh! Okay! Only 5 though? I would like more, please. Now you can focus all your efforts on this year's treasure hunt. Kinda did most of that already. Well, that was all the lessons. I'm guessing all you do now is just allow me to attend all my revisits. There we go. We did literally all the classes. We've literally got no more to do for the whole entire term. Next episode, after I edit this mammoth, we're going to go around the school again, which will be a lot more of a shorter trip. Hang out with the rest of the faculty in our monster prom. And give our Pokemon a bath and use up these candies, I guess. They need a treat, because they've been kind of neglected since we neglected our studies. Now we've been neglecting our Pokemon, and they need some care. So we'll be doing all that next time. See you guys later.